Thank you for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Amazon FBA business for sale in multiple niches. Created in July 2016, this business makes $3,954 per month in net profit, and the listing number for the business is 46061. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the businesses they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Katie, thank you for coming on here today. How are you doing?
Good, Jake. How are you?
Doing excellent, and I'm excited to discuss your Amazon FBA business today. But before we dive into the questions that I have, I want to go ahead and run through a little quick summary of the business. Again, it was built in July of 2016, has a monthly revenue of $23,891, expenses of $19,937 to make for a net profit of $3,954, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the Seller Central account with 6 SKUs, domain and on-site content and files, trademark, SOPs, and social media accounts. Please note that inventory is not normally included in the list price. Further details can be provided to active depositors. Katie, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, sure. Jake, prior to starting this business, I had got a small business background, but actually in the telecommunications space, not in online retail or online marketing at all. The reason I ventured into this business was really finding a business that would suit my life, if you like. At that time, I had 2 young children, so I was really looking for something that would be location free, but that had the opportunity to be scalable, but would also be flexible with my time commitment as well. So I sort of had the business utopia first, if you like, and then went to find a business that would tick those boxes. And that's how I got into the Amazon FBA space.
And why did you decide that Amazon FBA was more for you than something like selling on a Shopify site?
I think basically you hit the nail on the head when you said what was my previous experience, and I had none. And I think that Amazon FBA, which basically was a platform where the Amazon platform itself already had lots of pre-qualified shoppers on there ready to buy and purchase, as well as the FBA model, which meant that I could send goods direct to their warehouses, not to have to worry about housing those myself or learning about inventory and supply and logistics as well, was massive. So it meant I could focus on my strengths, which were more so, I would say, around the creative side of the business, the branding, the product selection, identifying who my ideal client would be. And I think for all those reasons, Amazon ticked those boxes. And the fact as well, it was always attractive to me from the beginning that there was multiple markets with Amazon that you could enter that already had very mature buying audiences as well. And I think if I'd looked at starting a Shopify store myself, that would have been so many other potential skills that I would have needed to acquire before I could have got going. Whereas with this business, I could pretty much hit the ground straight away.
So why have you decided to exit the business today?
Yeah, okay. So I'm originally British, but I've lived in Australia for 16 years. But myself and my family have recently moved over to New Zealand to live a quieter mountain life. And I'm looking at doing a new venture over here. So really, right now, I'm just looking to get some cash from the business so that I can put into this new venture and start something new. So that's the real motivation at this point.
Can you explain, looking back over the last year, why there was a dip in December of 2018 here? What happened then?
To be honest, that was just, I think, the fact that I hadn't launched any new products this last 12 months. I think I was solidifying the business and assessing whether I was going to choose to keep growing it or think now as I am, well, when I say growing in terms of new product lines, or whether I was just going to solidify what I had. So there was a little dip there. And also, I think realistically with a couple of my products, there's a little bit more competition onto the Amazon marketplace as well, which may have taken a little bit of the sales that I'd had previously. So I think both those 2 factors were a little contributory to that small dip. Yeah.
But then you were steady throughout the rest of the year. I mean, is this really something that you don't expect to come up again?
I think a lot of sellers have absolutely amazing quarter 4s, and they have products that lend themselves to seasonal buying and gift giving, if you like. My products have not been like that. If anything, they're probably a little bit stronger in the summer season. They lend themselves a little bit more to that. No, I don't see it being an ongoing issue at all. And in actual fact, I already have a number of products that I have planned out should any buyer be interested to look at those and what those opportunities might look like as well. So no, I don't see it as an issue ongoing at all, no.
Yeah, definitely makes sense, especially because, as you mentioned, the products are more summer products here.
Yeah.
So can you walk me through the day-to-day with this business? What does it take to maintain?
Yeah, so I've always set the business up so that I could be as hands-off as possible. So in saying that, I have 2 I have a virtual assistant that works 20 hours a week in the business, and she handles. So I'm in a couple of marketplaces. So I'm in the US and also in the UK. And we can talk a little bit about Europe afterwards if you'd like, because I think that's very relevant to the business moving forward. But so in those two marketplaces, she currently does a lot of the day-to-day customer service emails. She'll monitor things like Amazon reviews and respond to those. She'll try and convert Amazon seller feedback into a review if that's relevant. She also will track all my business metrics every day so I can see how my products are performing. So that would be things like how much traffic are we getting to each listing? How well is that traffic converting? Where are main keywords ranking? So that on any daily basis, I can get a little bit of a snapshot by market and by product as to what's going on. And then she also deals with social media as well. So she's deriving content for social media, which is both on our branded social media, and also we have a community focus as well, which is in a niche relevant to where I'm selling, so that we can use that community and leverage it for product launches and so on. So she sort of takes care of that. And then also overseas in China, where I source my products, I do have a sourcing agent that works with me, and she will handle any production order I have, whether it's for a new product or an existing one. So she'll be liaising with the factory on my behalf. She'll deal with all the printing or any product inserts that are relevant. And then once I'm actually ready to send product into FBA, she also actually helps me manage my freight forwarding as well in terms of obtaining quotes and then facilitating. So that's a lot of the day-to-day grind the business, I guess, those guys do for me. So really, I'm just looking at a top level on the business metrics and then things like new product development, things like that. Which is why, realistically and honestly, I can easily spend 3 to 5 hours a week in this business and no more when those guys are doing that work. Because I think the thing is with this business is that if you're doing the right things really well, there is an element of set and forget, and buy the right things well listed product listing that's got great images and it's converting well. If you're ranked well for your keywords, then your focus may be to drive more traffic if you're getting a good amount of consistent reviews. And if you're responding to your customers and handling your customer service well and delivering a great customer experience, I think they're the things to keep on top of. They're the kind of the meat and potatoes, if you like, of doing this business well. If you're on top of those, then the day-to-day can be relatively seamless.
Yeah, and I'm sure it definitely helps having that team. Will the team be continuing with the business throughout the sale?
Yeah, so they will 100% throughout the sale. I haven't mentioned specifically as of this moment that the business is for sale, but I would be very confident to say that both the sourcing agent and the VA would be very keen to stay on with the business. I obviously cannot guarantee 100%, but I would be, especially the sourcing agent, because she works with a number of actually other Amazon sellers as well. She has a small group of sellers that she works with, so I know that would be no issue at all. And obviously her work's a little bit ad hoc, depending on whether I'm doing new products or it's just reorders. For the virtual assistant, I would be very surprised if she didn't want to stay on. So yeah, I've got but right now I haven't shared this information with them.
When you look at this business going forward, if you were to keep it, what would you focus on to try to grow the business to new heights?
Yeah, okay, so that's why I mentioned Europe before. So in the inclusion of this sale, the figures have been based purely on the US and the UK. However, I was doing some very decent volume in Germany prior to a couple of months ago. However, once I'd made the decision to sell the business, we didn't include Germany in the sale, as I just stopped selling there based on the fact that there is now some new VAT German legislation that's coming to play. And that's in light of the potential Brexit deal that's happening in the UK at the moment. So there's some, I guess, EU red tape or bureaucracy that's going on in Germany at the moment in terms of how to comply as a seller. And for me, with the knowledge that I was selling the business, to actually apply for that VAT number and go through those hoops was not going to make financial sense for me to do so. However, Germany is still a great opportunity, as is the UK, still my favourite markets by far in terms of ease of launch and less competition. So I think Europe is still a fantastic opportunity, and it's one, if I keep in the business, I would still be pursuing aggressively. So that's the first one. And the second one, I think, is really, again, just product expansion. The niche that I'm in is travel and adventure accessories. It's a great niche on Amazon. It's got, it can be a year-round niche. So I think just adding relevant products into the portfolio of the brand, which is trademarked. So that's an added bonus as well. And that's what I'd be focusing on, 100%.
You also have, outside of Amazon, a website, and then the website directs customers to the Amazon listings, correct?
It does, yeah. I haven't done anything to drive traffic or had any sort of a Shopify site plugged in. It was really just for social proof, really, of the business, but that's included there. So it's really just around credibility around the brand and then driving people directly onto Amazon. But of course, that's not to say that a potential buyer could leverage that website more so than I've done to date yet.
And then with the social media presence, with a large Facebook following, Pinterest, you also have the Facebook community, you have the ManyChat subscribers. I mean, do you feel that there is, in addition to growing to other Amazon markets like Europe and so on and so forth, would you say that there is a huge opportunity to expand outside of Amazon?
I think definitely. And I think this is the thing. Like, I've actually set up a really good social media following, but I'll be honest in saying that understanding how to leverage outside traffic to Amazon has not been a strength of mine. And I believe still there's so much traffic and shoppers on Amazon to capitalize it. That's where my focus has been. But I think for anyone who maybe has experience or can work with people who have experience in driving outside traffic, I guess all the bones are there through those social media pages that we've already established. So I think that's 100% right. And probably the other thing I'd say that's maybe an opportunity would be, I also don't believe I've leveraged the PPC, so the Amazon advertising platform, as well as I could have. Again, it's quite, something that if you've got a great skill set with it, or you can outsource it to people who are experts in it, it's really something that can grow your business exponentially. But again, that's, I think, probably an untapped opportunity as well for someone that would be coming into the business to look at as well.
Do you feel like there are any potential risks associated with this business that a new owner should be aware of?
Not really. I mean, I think a lot of people say this, Amazon's a bit of a giant, and they are very customer-centric focused, customer not being you as the seller using their platform, but to their end consumer. And I guess, Amazon can change, and maybe you thought you had it nailed one week and something will change the next. But I think that's as much around self-education as it is anything else. But I think if you're doing the right thing and you're being compliant and you're ahead of what the rules and regulations are to be a seller on Amazon, then I don't think it's particularly risky. I think it's all about, understanding what are your likely costs going to be. Let's say you're looking at a new product. Are you aware of all the costs involved? Obviously there's your cost of goods. Are you what your freight will be? Are you aware of the options to look at C versus? Are you aware of exactly what the Amazon fees? Have you made sure that you understand what the size of the product is when it's packed so that you truly know what you'll be charged? Are you aware of how much you may want to spend on PPC and what the difference is between spending on PPC when you're launching a product versus when you're maintaining that product? So I think if you do great due diligence on launching new products, or you make sure that you're being compliant, then I don't think there's too much risk. Also, we already have the brand registry program in place with the trademark that we have with this business. So that means that you get quite a lot of on-page protection with Amazon from potentially hijackers or some of the other things that potentially you hear about as well. So I think all in all, not much risk. I guess, like a lot of people say, it could be wise to diversify from Amazon, whether that's through Shopify or another option. But as it stands right now, this is a very compliant business. And I think if any new owner continues to run it in the same way, there's not too much risk involved, no.
Would you commit to a non-compete?
Yes, I would. Yeah.
And how much support are you willing to offer a new owner during the transition period?
Look, I think it would depend on what experience the owners got initially, but I would be happy to have potentially a couple of Skype calls with them and some emails back and forth. And should we be at the stage where my VA was wanting to keep going, then obviously there'd be a transitionary sort of handover, or there'd be some guidance from them on the day-to-day basis as well.
Are you open to negotiating on something like an earnout?
Potentially. It depends on what the percentage is. I'd possibly be more willing to negotiate on full payout price than I would on an earnout, just because I'm wanting to get that cash to move on. But yes, I'd be open to looking at some kind of negotiation for a serious buyer, yeah.
Awesome. Katie, thank you very much for taking the time with me today. Before I let you go, my final question. If you were looking at this business from the perspective of a potential buyer, why would you feel like it is an asset worth buying?
From a potential buyer, maybe I can answer this first as the potential seller, as in I know what it takes to get all these things started. I mean, they're tried and tested products. You're getting 2 seller accounts with excellent seller feedback. You've got products with a heap of reviews. You've got all the IP, the branding and the packaging. Now, I know what it takes to create all that, and I've made quite a lot of mistakes with product choices, along the way. Some haven't worked, and the ones that are working. And I think that to be able to just sort of hit the ground running and have advice on where to take the business in the future is what the attraction is, to be honest with you, because no business, sort of like every business, takes some time to build up. And I think that all those things that have been learned to date from July 16 is really what the asset and what the opportunity is to be able to just take those forward and keep growing the business.
Katie, thank you very much again for taking the time with me today. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Jake. Thanks very much for your time.
If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that will take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing page and want more information, become a depositor today. When you make the deposit, one of our business advisors will be in contact with you. You'll be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.